What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm E-Bike Builder, and lately I've been playing around with this Gemini Advanced Deep Research Google AI thing where it can do the research for you. So let's have it research something for us. Tell me about the e-bike landscape in 2025. We're going to listen to a little AI narrated discussion about this. And so I know this is kind of lazy, guys, but it's just a way where you can make a video real quick and get some comments flowing and some ideas flowing. So I'm going to let this thing do research for a minute, and then we're going to listen.
All right, so we're diving into e-bikes today. You sent over some really interesting stuff, analyses and news about regulations, and yeah, looking ahead to 2025 and beyond, we're going to try to figure out what it all means for this fast-growing market. Think of it like your cheat sheet to like the big changes ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, we're looking at market projections with a compound annual growth rate, consistently over 10%.
Wow.
Pushing that market value well into the billions. So it's pretty amazing.
That is huge.
Yeah. What's really fascinating is all the different things that are coming together to drive this kind of growth.
Okay, yeah, let's break that down then. What's going on? Why this impressive growth?
One of the biggest things, and this is something that comes up in pretty much every source, is just a heightened awareness of the environment.
Right.
People are really looking for alternatives, greener ways to get around.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you've got the rising cost of fuel, traditional fuels, and more congestion in cities. So e-bikes are starting to look like a really practical solution.
It makes sense.
For a lot of people. Plus, you've got government incentives in a lot of places.
Oh, yeah.
Really pushing to move people towards electric mobility.
So it's like this combo of people wanting to do good for the planet, and then also it's making more and more sense financially.
Absolutely.
And then the government is like, hey, here's a little something to sweeten the deal.
Exactly.
And it's not just for getting to work anymore either.
No, not at all. The reports are highlighting how versatile e-bikes are these days. People are using them to commute, obviously.
Yeah.
But also just for fun, for leisure, going out for a ride. And even for hauling stuff around, cargo bikes are becoming more and more popular.
Yeah, I've definitely seen more of those around.
And even with the motor assisting you, there are still some undeniable health benefits. But I think for now, at least, urban commuting is still where most of the market is.
Okay, interesting. So now let's talk about rules, regulations, because things are changing on that front too. California has that new law coming in 2025.
Right.
That seems like a pretty big deal. What did you learn about it?
Yeah, California's really stepping up their regulation game, especially for these higher speed e-bikes. One of the big changes is that they're restricting throttles for Class 1 and Class 3 e-bikes. So you can only use the throttle for like a walk mode.
So like super low speed.
Yeah, very low speed.
Yeah.
And there's also a hard limit now on how powerful the motor can be. 750 watts for all classes.
Oh, wow.
And this is mainly to prevent people from modifying their bikes, to make them go faster than they're supposed to.
So now if you try to soup up your e-bike, you could actually get in trouble.
Yep, exactly. And it goes beyond just speed and power. To even be classified as an e-bike in California, now you have to have pedals that actually work.
Right.
And get this, starting in 2026, any e-bike battery sold in California has to be tested and certified, like mandatory. And manufacturers are going to have to issue firmware updates to make sure their bikes follow those new speed limits.
Wow. So that's a big shift in a huge market. What about other places? How does that compare to, say, somewhere like Wisconsin?
So Wisconsin, they also have a 3-class system. But what's interesting is they give a lot of control to the local level. So while the basic classifications are similar, with speed limits of 20 miles per hour for Class 1 and 2 and 28 for Class 3, all with that 750 watt cap, individual towns and cities actually have a lot of say in where you can ride e-bikes, especially when it comes to trails. And they can also decide whether to allow throttles in certain areas.
I see.
Like in Madison, for instance, they actually have e-bike registration now at the city level.
Interesting. So this 3-class system, it sounds like that's becoming the standard across a lot of the U.S.
Yeah, it's gaining traction.
Can you quickly remind us, what are those classes again?
Sure. So Class 1 e-bikes are pedal assist only, up to 20 miles per hour.
Okay.
No throttle. Class 2, you get both throttle and pedal assist. Also 20 miles per hour top speed. Class 3 is pedal assist only, but you can go up to 28 miles per hour. Got it. And then there's some e-bikes that don't really fit neatly into these categories. Sometimes they're called classless.
Okay.
They might have more power or higher speed.
All right. So rules are one side of things.
Right.
But technology is the other really exciting part.
Right.
What are some of the cool new developments happening in the e-bike world?
Oh, man. This is where it gets fun.
Okay.
Batteries are constantly getting better. They're getting lighter, lasting longer, and holding more charge. You're seeing capacities now from like 500 watt hours to over 1,000,
Wow.
which means you can ride for a lot longer.
Yeah.
And fast charging is becoming more and more common.
Yeah, that's key.
And the ways they're integrating the batteries into the bike frame is getting super innovative.
Huh.
Looking ahead, we might even see things like solid-state batteries
Wow.
or sodium-ion batteries
Interesting.
becoming more mainstream. And there's a big emphasis now on sustainability and making sure those batteries can be recycled properly.
So that's great for the environment? More range and faster charging. That solves some major problems for riders. What about motors? Any cool stuff happening there?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Motors are getting more powerful, for sure, but they're also becoming more efficient
Okay.
and quieter, which is great.
Nice.
And we're seeing this really interesting trend towards smart connectivity. So you can connect your e-bike to your smartphone
Oh, wow.
through an app and do all kinds of cool things like track your rides and customize the settings. And the motors themselves are actually getting smaller and lighter, too.
So what are some of those features you can get with the smart connectivity?
Well, you can track your ride date, obviously. You can get GPS navigation right on your bike.
Nice.
You can customize the power modes to like match how you want to ride that day. There are security features, so you can remotely lock your bike or even track it with GPS if it gets stolen.
That's a big one.
Yeah. You get alerts when it's time for maintenance.
Wow.
And you can have a personalized dashboard that shows you all the info you need.
Sounds futuristic.
It kind of is. And the software can even be updated over the air
Wow.
to get new features and improvements.
So cool. Any companies doing interesting things in that space?
Yeah, there's a company called Comodule that's a big player. And then there's some e-bike brands like Ertopia that are actually integrating localized AI models into their bikes for a smarter riding experience.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And then there's this thing called a Pinion gearbox that you mentioned earlier.
Right. The Pinion gearbox.
So that's a really cool alternative to a traditional derailleur. It combines the motor with a multi-speed gearbox. You can get either 9 or 12 gears, and it's all electronically controlled.
Oh, wow.
So one of the big benefits is that it's super low maintenance. Like you only need to change the oil every 10,000 kilometers or so.
Oh, that's amazing.
And the shifting is incredibly smooth, even when you're pedaling hard or even when you're completely stopped.
Huh.
And it makes the bike more durable overall.
Okay.
And it helps with weight distribution for better balance. Plus, it just looks cleaner.
Nice.
No messy derailleur hanging down there. And it integrates really well with smart systems like FIT.
Wow.
So you can control everything from one place.
Yeah.
And more e-bike makers are starting to use this Pinion gearbox tech.
So really interesting stuff happening there. So taking all of this into account, like, what are the biggest trends that are going to shape the future of e-bikes?
Well, I think we're going to see smart technology and AI becoming even more deeply integrated.
Okay.
Like maybe even to the point where your bike can kind of predict when it needs maintenance.
Wow.
Or you'll have super advanced anti-theft features thanks to AI. There's also this thing called V2X communication, vehicle to everything.
Oh, what's that?
So it's basically allowing e-bikes to communicate with other vehicles and infrastructure.
Oh, wow.
Which could really improve safety. And then, of course, there's battery tech. We might see breakthroughs in solid-state batteries.
Right.
Maybe even wireless charging. And there's definitely going to be a bigger push towards using eco-friendly materials and making the whole process more sustainable.
That's good to hear.
We can also expect to see more and more specialized types of e-bikes coming out
How interesting.
to meet all sorts of different needs.
Right.
And safety features are going to keep getting better. Things like advanced lighting and collision detection. And a really important one, affordability. I think as technology gets better and production ramps up, e-bikes are going to become more accessible to more people. Plus, we'll probably see a bigger used e-bike market.
That makes sense.
And maybe even subscription models.
Oh, interesting.
So there are a lot of things coming together to make them more affordable.
That's great. Sounds like they're really poised to go mainstream.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in some places, e-bike sales are already higher than electric car sales.
Wow.
And the market projections are really strong. Some people even think that e-bikes might already be the most common type of electric vehicle worldwide.
That's a big statement.
Yeah, it is. But there's still some hurdles to overcome.
Okay, like what?
I think awareness is still a big one.
Okay.
A lot of people still don't really know that much about e-bikes or how they work. And there are definitely safety concerns,
Yeah.
both in terms of the infrastructure and also making sure the riders know how to use them safely. And then, unfortunately, theft is a major problem in
Yeah.
a lot of areas.
So just to recap, it sounds like the e-bike market is growing like crazy. A lot of that has to do with people becoming more environmentally conscious
Yeah.
and also just the practical benefits. You know, it's becoming more affordable. It's a convenient way to get around. Regulations are changing to try to keep up with all this.
Definitely.
And a lot of the focus there is on safety. And then on the technology side, it's just unbelievable how fast things are moving.
Yeah.
E-bikes are getting more powerful, more
Oh, yeah.
user-friendly, more affordable. So it seems like they're well on their way to becoming a mainstream mode of transportation.
Yeah, I think all signs point to that. It's a really exciting time to be watching this space. I mean, the way all these factors are coming together suggests that e-bikes are going to play a much bigger role
Right.
in how we get around in the future.
Absolutely fascinating stuff. It really makes you wonder what other changes or challenges are going to pop up in the next few years. Like, what are the things we haven't even thought of yet?
Yeah, who knows what's coming next?
It's exciting to think about. It's definitely something to keep an eye on as we see more and more of these out on the streets. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
It was my pleasure.
Really interesting stuff. And that's it for today. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
All right, guys. Well, that was pretty interesting. So that was just kind of like a low effort video that I made using this like Google Deep Research AI thing, where it scours the internet, it crunches the numbers, and then it gives you like this big research report of everything. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's just kind of a low effort, lazy AI video to get some comments flowing and some creative thoughts flowing in the YouTube comments. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm going to build an e-bike. Peace out, bubs. Later.